Hello everyone, welcome to TurkishSoccer.com's Turkish Football Weekly and Turkish Super Lig Weekly podcast. My name is Ahmet Turgut. This is the last podcast of mine in the 2020 season in Turkish football. So, as I left you off in my last podcast, I talked about the Turkish Super Lig because of being 21 teams this season, because of the COVID and also the decision by Turkish government and Turkish Football Federation. They didn't have the relegation teams go down. So the teams that were supposed to go down to first division, lower division, they stayed up at the Turkish Super League. That's why we have 21 teams this year. That's why we have a lot of games happening because of these issues. This is insane. I want to give my opinion. Actually, this is not good for all the teams, even the teams that are struggling on the bottom, also chasing the title on top. Because every 10 days for next month, they will be playing 3 games, even though some teams will have bye each week. But this is outrageous to play back-to-back 3 matches in 10 days is awful. So when we left off, it was the 12th week ended and 13th week was going to start it. I'm going to just recap what happened in the 13th, 14th, and 15th weekend, which that happened, finished on Tuesday. Actually, it was supposed to finish on Monday, but there was weather delayed on one of the matches in Antalya Hatayspor. That was played last Tuesday. So in that match, I want to first time in Hatay's history, the newcomer Hatayspor scored 6 goals against Antalyaspor. This was huge, ending the 2020 season year, I should say, with a huge closing with 6 goals, and that was something to see. And recapping, as I said, the last 3 weekends in 10 days, as we left the last podcast, Alanyaspor was on top in first place with 26 points. During those 3 weekend matches, Alanyaspor only earned 1 point. Their point right now after the ending 15th weekend, they have only 27 points and they lost the first place to Galatasaray. Galatasaray, probably one of the biggest movers and shakers in this 3 past weekend. Galatasaray was at 23 points at the end of 12th weekend, and they are at 29 points at the end of 15th weekend. So they're in first place right now in the Turkish Super League with 29 points. And Beşiktaş, another mover and shaker in the last 3 weekends. Beşiktaş was in 4th place in 10 days ago with 19 points. They earned almost 11 points, actually, and they are at 10 points. They are in 28 points, and they're in 2nd place. And looking at some of the movers and shakers, I would say the biggest one in the bottom of the barrel, looking at Denizli. Denizli was at 6 points, and during the last 10 days, they moved their points to 12 points, and they're looking good on the bottom of the league. And another mover and shaker, looking at some of the points, Ankaragücü was at 8 points, and they are at 12 points at the end of the week, the 15th. Another team, that Erzurumspor, was at 9 points, and they are with 12 points. Now, the team that did not move at all, did not earn much, although they had one bye weekend. Kayseri, they're really looking in trouble. They are in. They haven't earned any points this past 3 weekends. Another team that Gençler Birliği earned 4 points in 3 matches, brought up their points to 15, and Sivasspor was 11 points, and they moved up their points to 17 points. Başakşehir, the defending champions of 2019-2020 year, defending champions of Turkish Super Lig, they earned only 1 point, even though they had one bye a weekend. That's not good for Başakşehir right now. Başakşehir looking at after the 15th weekend, they are not looking good in the table. They're in the 16th place with 16 points. That's not good, and because they're right up there with Gençler Birliği, and Gençler Birliği is with 15 points. So it's danger. They are right in the danger zone. So I think to recap of last 10 days with 3 weekend matches, you could say Galatasaray, that's why they moved up. They earned, even though they lost the match against Hatayspor, they are looking good. And they probably, I would say, the biggest mover in this position is Beşiktaş. They claimed from 4th place to 2nd place. Fenerbahçe really didn't do good because they are in struggling mode right now, even though they had one bye weekend during the last 10 days. So Fenerbahçe with 26 currently with 26 points. At the end of the, week 12th, they had only 23. So they only earned 3 points during the last 3 weekends in 10 days. So looking at some of the teams that moved up, another huge move up, Gaziantep. They're really doing good. Gaziantep is in 3rd place after Beşiktaş. They were at 18 points at the end of 12th weekend. At the end of the week 15th, they're at 27 points, and they are surpassed Fenerbahçe and right behind Beşiktaş and Galatasaray. This is huge. I think one of the biggest movers in this past 10 days, I would say, along with Galatasaray and Beşiktaş. Gaziantep is right on top there. So this is what was the recap, and I will go through very fast what will happen next next 10 days with week 16, week 17, week 18. Week 16 will start this coming Saturday, and it will end on Sunday. And Göztepe will have bye in the week 16, and the week 17 will start in the new year, which actually week 16 is going to start in the week New Year too. Saturday, January 2nd. It will finish on Sunday, January 3rd, and week 17 will start on January 5th on Tuesday, and will end by Thursday. And the team has bye in this week 17 is Kasımpaşa, and week 18th will start on January 9th, Saturday, and it will end on Monday, the 11th of January. And in this week 18th, Trabzonspor will have bye. Now, week 19 will start on 15th of January, which is on Friday, and then we'll have 2021 will be played in the next 10 days. So, as I told you in the beginning of this program, this is insane. This is just insane. With this kind of competition, you cannot have this much matches during the Super League. And this is the first time happening. I don't agree with it. And I'm sure a lot of team officials and team players and team coaches don't like this. But this is really, it's not good. So looking at some of the important matches coming up this weekend after we celebrate the New Year, looking at Galatasaray will be in Antalya on Saturday, and Alanya will be hosting Başakşehir. That could be very important match for both teams. On Sunday, Kasımpaşa will host Fenerbahçe at home, and Trabzonspor will be going to Fatih Karagümrük. This should be a very interesting match. And Beşiktaş, and I think Beşiktaş, let's see what Beşiktaş is doing. Beşiktaş will be in Kayseri. Kayseri is the team that hasn't won any matches the last 3 weekends. And it's very important match for them. But Beşiktaş really looking good. They should have no problem beating Kayseri in Kayseri. In this week 16, as I told you, Göztepe will have bye. So I think looking at week 16, Erzurum, Gaziantep, it will play on Saturday. Sivas will be home against Denizli. Ankaragücü will be at home against Yeni Malatya. And these are some of the very important matches. And I would say Rize Gençler Birliği match should be very important. And after this matches will be played, as I told you, week 17 and week 18 will follow non-stop. So there's actually non-stop matches going on in Turkish Super League for every 10 days for next month. This is it's outrageous. I don't know. I just don't like what's going on, and there's no fans in the stadium. It doesn't make people fun for watching these games, even on TV, and it's a mess. And look, as I told you in the beginning of the program, the last match of 2020 season was played on Tuesday in Antalya, and Hatayspor goal scorer Bufenza scored 4 goals in one match. I think this is a record so far in 2020 season. And leading goal scorers, by the way, is Abu Bakar from Beşiktaş with 8 goals, Bufenza with 7, and Adem Büyük follows him with 7 goals. Also, Maxim from Alanyaspor with 7 goals, and Pereira with 7 goals. Guess who's in 6th place in leading goal scorers? Kyle Larin. Kyle Larin is, from Canada, Canadian national player that has scored 6 goals after Abu Bakar. Kyle Larin is the 2nd most goal scorer in Beşiktaş team. So these are the matches. It's going to be happening, and I hope I recap the things what happened in the last 3 weekends for you. And recapping all that stuff is looking at the standings. The biggest movers and shakers are Gaziantep and Beşiktaş and Galatasaray so far in this past 10 days. We will see what will happen in the next 10 days, but I'm waiting for a lot of surprise scores. So, wherever you listen to your podcast, please listen to my podcast. I wish everyone happy, safe New Year. See you next time.